Let's go to, I believe it's in Summerlin, Nevada now. Shane Hnidy joining us from AT&T Sportsnet, Golden Knights color guy. How you doing, Knides?
Good. You got me there? Can you hear me?
You're clear as a bell. Perfect. You're as clear as a bell. How are things down there, buddy, in the valley?
Oh, it's nice. It's beautiful. It's sunny. A lot of excitement surrounding the Golden Knights, obviously, with big signing of Alex Pietrangelo. So, I shouldn't say a lot of excitement, but it comes at a price. Not only a player of Nate Schmidt's caliber, but possibly behind Marc-Andre Fleury, maybe the most popular player here.
Well, okay, so I'll save the LeBron talk for the end because I'm going to cut right to the meat of the stuff that I wanted to get to with you. One, you were at Bill Foley's ranch in Montana. It looked like an absolute holiday, except for the long day that was rounds 2 through 7. And by the way, I was watching because Gary asked how the internet connection was, and it was smooth as a bell. Nides, I feel like I'm with you every day because I'm watching all you guys' stuff. Was it as amazing as it looked at that ranch?
Oh, it really was. And especially for a kid from Neepawa, Manitoba, that, my dad's a huge outdoorsman, hunting, fishing. I grew up doing all that. And there's not much of that right around Vegas. There are some areas close by, but it's been a while since I've been in the outdoors. It really reminded me of, growing up in the prairie. Well, a little more hilly than the prairies, let's say that. A little more mountainous out in Montana. But yeah, it's a beautiful ranch. It's 35,000 acres, Rock Creek Cattle Company, Bill Foley's property. It's got homes. It's got the golf course just hit the top 100. It's 99th in the world. You got fly fishing. You got every outdoor adventure you could imagine. So it was a great place for us to host the draft week and then lead into free agency. And at the same time, got to enjoy some of those activities.
Unbelievable. 35,000 acres is a lot. So glad you enjoyed it and you made the most of it. But then you barely got out of the draft and then free agency hits. And so, you get Pietrangelo and Nate Schmidt's gone. So a viewer asked last hour, was I surprised that he was traded within the division? And I said, listen, we'll just put it to Knides. Are you surprised that Vancouver was the partner for Nate Schmidt?
I think a little bit, but I think at that point, you're looking for whatever partner wanted to take 5.9 off the books. And get a draft pick back. So, essentially when you look at it and break it down, Paul Stastny and Nate Schmidt, two pretty good players. They lose them, but they get 2 draft picks, a 3rd and a 4th upcoming, a player in Dahlstrom, and they get, in return, they're able to sign Alex Pietrangelo, but also able to sign Robin Leonard to that extension because that's part of it. So, pretty good trade when you think about it, the way they were able to upgrade, I believe, their team. As much as I'm a huge fan of Nate Schmidt, both the player and the person, Alex Pietrangelo is one of those, and I've said this often, I've been on a few shows now, he's one of those rare players, Rod, that passes both the eye test for people that love that, and he passes all the tests in the analytic community. He is a guy that really is favorable on any list you want to look at. He is an elite defender right from his own end. He's a legit number one in where he's going to lead your team to the ice. You got a power play, he's possibly first off. Although they have an emerging guy in Shea Theodore who might meet him in the power play, but penalty kill first on the ice. Defensive situations, leadership. So he's a rare player to have the opportunity to sign, and that's exactly what Kelly McCrimmon said. They've been fortunate to, when you're a young organization, these are usually players that you draft and develop within, but they've been able to grab 2 now. Mark Stone via trade, and now Alex Pietrangelo through free agency.
We've got questions from the viewers, and we'll get to those. But the one thing, you know what it takes to win a Stanley Cup, Knights, because you've won one. And some of the pundits that I've seen have said, Pietrangelo's the one thing the Golden Knights are missing to win a Stanley Cup. Do you go along with that?
No, I don't put it on why. I think he certainly makes them better and maybe gives them, another added piece, a valuable added piece. Stanley Cups are won by teams, not individuals. That will always be the case. That'll always be my belief. He makes them overall better. Absolutely. I think, they've made a few moves, but you also need other pieces. There's elements that are unpredictable that you need to fall into place. And I can relate the Boston Bruins. Brad Marchand was a young player there that started in the 4th line. a couple of years early, and then a year earlier. And then by the time, year later in the Stanley Cup, he's an integral piece of that. I look at Cody Glass, Peyton Krebs, these two young centermen, now that Paul Stastny's gone, which one's going to step up and be the difference maker? Those are certain pieces, but Alex Pietrangelo certainly makes them a better team and gives them a much better opportunity to push for the Stanley Cup.
So before we move on, what about the loyalty issue? Like even Brian Burke said it the other night on Sportsnet that teams aren't going to want, players aren't going to want to sign there because there's no loyalty to the players. I think that's a bunch of bunk. What's your take on that?
My take personally is, when did we change as hockey players to feel that we're entitled to stay and play in one spot? Maybe because I played for 6 teams. Certainly I understood early in my career. It started in junior when I got traded. It was grad year. I learned early there's not a whole lot of loyalty. We're in a business that is to win, and they're going to make decisions regardless of what we think of our emotions. So this is the business. You chose to be a professional hockey player. You get paid extremely well. You get moved. Yes, it sucks. It's unfortunate, but there's a group of management, and it's not only the general manager. You have your pro scouts, you have your amateur scouts, you've got a whole department, you got analytics that evaluate, that try to look to the future. They try to predict, they try to evaluate and project what they need to win, and they make the moves necessary. That's what every team does, and they don't take a whole lot of the players' feelings into account. And they shouldn't.
I was going to say, boom, mic drop. And I've been in dressing rooms nights where I've seen guys get traded and you're crying, going around hugging guys. This is in junior, and I'm like, well, that sucks, but you're learning early, just like you just did. I'm like, oh, did the game change and I missed it? I don't think this has changed. This is the way. You win a Stanley Cup, maybe. But you didn't even get to the Stanley Cup final. And as I said, Kelly McCrimmon's got to answer too. You don't think he's not in Bill Foley's office explaining why they weren't in the Stanley Cup final? It's his job to make them better, period.
Well, it is. You're 100% right. That's Kelly McCrimmon, and it's tough. I, without a doubt, I believe it was a very difficult move to move Nate Schmidt because popular in the community, popular in the room. He was a unique guy. His personality, his character, they're going to love him in Vancouver. There's not a whole lot of guys like that. He doesn't have many bad days, and I think it was infectious through the room. But that said, Nate Schmidt was going to be the highest paid player above Shea Theodore, or defenseman, excuse me. He was not number one power play unit. He was not number one penalty kill, and he was not leading them in minutes. Pietrangelo is going to come in and possibly do that. You're going to have a 1-2. Shea Theodore, it continues his projection, just crazy elevation from December on of last year. He's an elite defender. And now they have 2 guys arguably in the top 10 in the league. And so Nate Schmidt's gone. You move on. This is the team, Kelly McCrimmon. They want to win. They have an owner that wants to win. He's very vocal about it. He's very confident about it. And if you have an owner that does that, well, that's pressure on the general manager to win now, and they've got to make moves that they feel the best. And they getting Pietrangelo is a rare he can come available, and you're able to grab him for 7 years.
Yeah, he was by far the most coveted free agent on the market. So from our VP of Sim Events, Nelson Hakowicz, is watching. He says, "What brand is that hat? I might need to expand my hat collection." Do you recall what you put on this morning, Shane?
Yeah, this hat, Threads of Envy in Vegas. Yeah.
What is it?
Threads of Envy.
What is that?
It's a local company that I should make sure I'm saying it right. They gave it to me, but it's just let me check. But it's they do a lot. The players, Threads of Envy. I was right.
Threads of Envy. I gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Do you know where people can get it? Because you're wearing it and now people want it, Shane. You've got that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can go online. I believe Instagram, they have an account, and then online, Derek England. Ryan Reeves does a lot of support with them. They're great hats. I love them. I got a camo one, so go ahead, order online.
That's amazing.
We're all doing it.
Well, I thought it was
Welcome
a Golden Knights thing. Well, it's Envy. I get it. I thought it was a Nevada thing. Okay, I totally get it.
Well, it is. It's Envy, but Threads of Envy. But it's spelled,
yeah, I totally get it.
We can talk about this forever. Just check it out.
Clearly. So we had Carlo Koliakovo last hour, and he feels that the NHL will be dropping the puck January 1st next season. He's applauded them for the way they handled the bubble. What's your take on starting on time, if that's on time, January 1st?
I sure hope Carlo's right. I hope we can get the season going January. I've heard rumor reports. I've heard, they feel they can get January 1. I've heard, possibly maybe February 1st. I believe they can get it going in January. There's different scenarios that they can make this work, and it's going to be a slow process to get to maybe the capacity they want. What are we going to look like for fans? But I believe in arenas, hopefully at that time, and a lot of this depends on the world, Rod. I don't know what it's going to look like, but hopefully it's a little safer. We can start bringing fans back in the building. That's going to be key. And if we can't immediately and they start in a bubble scenario, they have to know when they're going to be able to bring fans back. This is a gate-driven business, the NHL, and I don't think we see them really going until there's a plan to put people in seats in some capacity.
Interesting. Last one. I'll say happy belated Canadian Thanksgiving to you. It looked like you guys had a little gathering there, and Lala said that there's a Hnidy tradition. What was this? Is it Ukrainian tradition for Thanksgiving? What is it that you guys did?
I think it's a tradition. My grandpa used to do it when we go to Brandon. It was Thanksgiving. It was Christmas. Maybe it was just every gathering, but it was good. Some good Canadian whiskey and a shot passed around at Thanksgiving, and everybody gives, you pass it around, you take a shot of whiskey and just give your thanks, quick little thanks to what you're thankful for, and move on. Yeah, my grandpa Max Devechny did that from Brandon, so did that for years. And you know what? It's funny. I've taken it, and then my friends were good friends that are still my closest friends. We were in Winnipeg when I lived there. They texted me, said, "Well, we'll be doing a round of the." So it's grown, and now I brought it to people down here. There's a lot of Canadians. I think there was 6 or 7 couples, and there was only 4 Americans. So it's a lot of Canadians down here if we had a good Canadian Thanksgiving celebration.
That's what I saw. You're taking over and spreading your traditions down there to the valley. I like it. Hnidy, I could go on all day. My best to your family, your brother Sean, who I didn't bring up the last time that you were on. Say hey to him. I haven't forgot about him. And enjoy the off season for whatever it is, and hopefully we can do this down the line.
Absolutely. You can call me anytime. I could go all day too. This is it's great to chat, Rod. It's funny. I just to end it. Kelly McCrimmon not long ago sent me. He said, "Do you remember this?" He sent me. It was either the Regina paper, but it was the Prince Albert when we were down 3-1. It was me cross-checking. Was it Holden? I'd have to look at it in front of the net. And I remember that series down 3-1, playing for Prince Albert to Regina, and then there was a little bit of an
you
incident,
ran our goalie.
I believe. That was
not you.
That wasn't me. That
was Garnet Jacobson. Oh, I'm very familiar with the story. We still talk about it here.
16-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So, anyways, it was funny. Just not long ago, Kelly McCrimmon sent me a clip of that. Brought back some memories. Anyways, always good to chat. Great talking to you.
Thanks, Hnidy. Appreciate it. Stay safe. Bringing up the wounds. We still have the wounds. I remember it very well.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.